Jerry, thank you very much for this time you've given us.
Of course.
Please tell us about your impression of philanthropy in Mexico.
Well, I think it's been amazing. When I first came here, and I've been coming for close to 40 years, there was really no philanthropy. And in the projects we were involved in, we were not getting any money from Mexicans. And since that time, philanthropy here has grown. And it has increased immeasurably. And then I was asking somebody yesterday whether we have any figures, and what they said was that philanthropy has grown in the last 3 years more than the year before. So philanthropy is alive and doing well. I think people in Mexico should feel pleased and proud of what's happening here. It's so important. And I said to the group that I was speaking to earlier, just think of what this country would be like if we didn't have our nonprofits taking care of all of the issues and problems. What would happen? What would happen to those people? And so philanthropy is so important, and it's going to be increasingly so, because I think you're going to get less money from the government, you're going to get less money from corporations and foundations, and so you need to begin focusing on individual giving, and that's where the future, I think, of philanthropy is.
Okay. Many times, Jerry, we find the typical attitude of probably board members or donors themselves saying, why me? Or expressing that attitude. How would you, what would you recommend we do in Mexico to get rid of that attitude of why me attitude?
Why me? Well, yeah, you mentioned the board. It starts with the board. And this is my major concern in Mexico, that you're not recruiting board members, men and women, at this kind of a level. You're settling for this kind of a level. And some of your board members have served for 20 years, 30 years. And what you need is an infusion of younger men and women who will be roaring advocates of the organization, willing to call on others for gifts, and willing to make a stretch gift themselves. I think the future of philanthropy in Mexico is going to be dependent on board members and trustees. That's the future of fundraising. And for those who say, why me? I think everyone has a responsibility to help their fellow man. And I don't see any less of that in Mexico. I feel that the Mexicans I've spoken with, they feel great about helping others. There'll be some who just don't care. And you're not going to be able to do anything about that. But for those who care about their fellow man, we ought to be able to raise money.
Great. What do you think about the books that have been translated here in Mexico? Have they been helpful to advance the culture of philanthropy? Are there any plans to do more things?
Yeah, let me talk about what you folks have done in Mexico in the last, 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
We have put on speaking programs, teaching opportunities in 3 or 4 communities or different settings on each of those visits. I suppose altogether I have spoken to, I don't know, maybe 5,000 people. And I've got to believe that among those I've spoken with, I've made an impact. And let's say it's 5,000, and the impact is only with 10%.
Right.
That's still 500. And so getting the word out is like ripples in a pond. You get the word out, they get the word out, and pretty soon it's multiplied and it's multiplied. So I think it has made a great impact. Rosa Morales has translated 2 of my books into Spanish, but you also have probably 50 bits and pieces that I've done that are in Spanish. And so I think that has made a great impact.
Okay. How coming to Mexico has changed your view of fundraising? I expect probably we think that the closer we get to how fundraising is done in the U.S., the better we are. But how do you perceive that? I mean, do you want to be like the U.S. or how has that changed your perception?
Yeah, that's a great question. And actually, I've never thought of it that way. In the United States, we have a favored position that has been spiritually inspired. We give. And the giving in the United States, every year we've traced it. I think it's the last 60 years. Philanthropy has increased each year more than the year before. Now, in Mexico, philanthropy is still in its infancy. You're still crawling. But soon you will be walking. And then you'll be running. And I look for the time, could be 5 years from now, maybe 10, when you'll really be raising considerable funds. I don't think you'll ever be quite like the United States because we've had such a start on you. But you're growing and you're getting better. Every year you're getting better.
Finally, what would be the thing you recommend that we anticipate in order for us to grow? What obstacle should we overpass?
That's an easy one. I said it earlier. The board of your organizations, the board is your future. It's your destiny. And the organization will never rise above the level of the board. And so we need board members here who understand their responsibility is to ask others for gifts, to open doors, to help get the appointments, but also to make their own gift. And hopefully it's a stretch gift, because why should anybody else give if the board doesn't? Well, it's been great being with you, David. Thank you.
Thank you.
¿Podemos hacer otra toma? Can we make another shot? Can we make another shot now?
Oh.
Please? To make a city here, with you only.
Yeah.
But who's going to talk to us?
We are going to give the questions outside, and this is going, David, to the Institute for Charitable Giving.
Sure.
Yours.
Well, what do you want?
Yeah, it is too big, and this is just in the side of Jerry. So sorry, but we need a little more.
So you're going to be over there with she's just going to ask us
some questions from family and some more what I learned of you, commitment and volunteering. Please, if it's not good,
we don't need to use it. Yeah, just make sure.
El audio mejor no nos va a quedar tan bien por
Sí, es verdad. Se escucha mucho.
sí, se escucha
Pero sí
mucho.
tiene el micrófono, ¿no?
No tiene micrófono.
el micrófono de altos.
Ya.
Entonces ahí tenemos como ese problema.
Yeah,
Pues sí,
sound.
yo he grabado en el medio
In the background.
porque se oiga,
Y mira.
y aparte le vas a poner los subtítulos. En español. Nada más
A
como que
ver,
se
¿qué
entienda.
pasa si nos movemos hacia acá, hacia este ángulo? Un poco más familiar, más cercano.
Sí, pero ya queda muy en primer plano entonces ahorita. Van a hablar los dos, ¿no?
Did you
Sí.
get the phone set up?
Ya que está como
No, I
enfrente
can't
la
do
luz.
Okay. Can we move a little?
¿Y esta también o la quieres así? O que se vean los dos de allá.
Just to be just in
Queremos.
front.
Depende de qué queremos.
You can get an incoming call to my
Pero ¿cuál va a ser el formato? ¿Tú les vas a preguntar desde acá?
Sí, desde acá le pregunté. Como ayer, ¿no? Tú estuviste preguntando ayer.
Yo le estaba preguntando.
Desde
Estaba
lejos.
sentado.
No, ¿tú estabas sentado?
Sí.
She was
Se lo estaba entrevistando.
but I said,
Okay.
O sea, ¿quién van a ver ellos cuando los entrevistas? Esa es la cosa.
I just got an
Yo creo que tendría que ser mejor uno sentado y luego otro.
No.
Si no va a ser un relajo.
No, espérame. Can you just, don't questions, can you just tell us in 2 minutes, to encourage people just to be here in Mexico doing for their families whatever is needed. You have been while a white doing this. Is it difficult for you to do that?
What would you like as the first question?
The first question could be, in your perspective, how is family diet
The family?
with the philanthropy culture
In this country.
in this country?
But we have no idea.
No. Your opinion in your family, how it becomes important for you to be in philanthropy as a family?
The two of us.
Yeah.
Oh, not Mexico.
No. You as a family, bringing your idea in.
¿Cómo quieren los encuadres el otro? Digo, porque ese es como más hacia ellos dos. ¿Y cuál quieren? Como se les antoja.
Why are we giving our time to come to Mexico?
Ah, sí, de este lado, pero yo creo que con nosotros más igual.
I mean, talk between us, just between us.
Eso estaría bien. Así que hablen entre ellos. Ajá.
Very easy.
As if you were in a coffee conversation or something, like, what do you think about our coming to Mexico?
So I got to talk to him.
Something like that. So it sounds natural.
And
that
how do
pretty
you
good?
feel about some of the people we've met here?
Okay. Yeah, as if you were drinking coffee in the morning and that's
No, I'd be rather having a margarita.
So let's have
Yes,
it
margarita.
7 p.m. in the afternoon in a terrace in front of the ocean.
Taking a margarita.
Margarita, talking about your impressions of Mexico, if you're coming to Mexico.
Gotta look tiny.
¿Sabes lo que podemos hacer que hace mi hijo así súper? Y suena muy así, pero sí funciona. Poner un teléfono que grabe nada más la voz.
El audio,
¿no?
sí, puede
Así
ser.
le hace y le queda súper.
Puede ser.
¿Se puede?
Ponle tu.
Sí.
O bueno, yo porque yo lo voy a editar. O los dos, si quieres saber cuál es la.
¿Qué sabes mejor? We are going to use the telephone for the audio, so it will be easier.
We can.
Your voice.
In the time we edit it, we're gonna put the voice. And it's.
Oh, I see.
That's what I learned that from my son. He's a video maker. Como 3 seconds before we start, you tell me, and then.
¿Ahí te gusta esa toma?
Mucho.
Yes.
Sí, mucho.
Do you want to say to me?
Voy a tener que hacer unos testimonios con estas gentes. Ahí te pusiste otra.
Yeah, we've been coming to Mexico City, Mexico, for the last 7 or 8 years. How do you feel about it?
On the projects that we're doing, because we've been coming up with that, but
No,
for the,
just talk about the institute.
yeah, with the institute.
Yeah.
And so you say to me,
Si quieres
how do
ponlo.
you feel about what's important in it?
Sí, ahorita.
What do you feel?
Well, I think we
Pon
understand.
cuando sí está.
No, it's not a conversation.
Nada más que no suene.
Listo.
Okay.
Not questions, this is
Yeah.
conversation, right?
Ya.
No, we just.
What,
Yeah.
here and there you can say,
Yeah,
why
yeah.
do you think that? Or
Okay.
if you could speak a little loud, no problem.
Sure.
Ready?
Well, Felicity, we've been coming to Mexico for the Institute for Charitable Giving for the last, 7 or 8 years? What's your impression of what we've been doing?
One of the best things for me is to see the response from the people that we meet. And it's something, when we come down here, you're teaching things that were taught in the States 50, 60 years ago. Now, in the States, everybody knows about fundraising. It's hard to tell somebody something new, even though we try. But you come here and you work with people and you talk to people for whom you can make a huge difference, who really long to have this kind of help and are so receptive, and they're so grateful to us for coming. So you can't help but feel really, wonderful about doing it.
Yeah, and they seem so receptive and grateful. Do you think that's partly the Mexican nature, that they're those kind of people? But do you feel that we're making an impact?
Yes, I do. I do feel it's the nature. I wish we had that nature at home. I don't think that exists. But here, people come and they hug you, and they're really grateful. But I also think as they come back, because we've met quite a few people who've come to over several years now, and they tell you about their programs, they tell you what they've done. So yes, I think it has made a big difference. And having the materials and the pieces that Rosa's made for us, so you're giving them something to take away, you're giving them something they can learn from. And I think it's made a huge difference. I feel it. I think you see the difference when you especially go to a couple of those programs in Mexico City, and you see the sophistication happening and the change happening. And I think we have made a difference.
Yeah, you're referring to, what is it, the International Club or the Club? And this last year and the year before, we met with mostly board members. And these were board members of a very high caliber. And they get the message.
Yes, but I think the others do too. I think in the programs we're doing, there are people. Yesterday, a man came up to me and he said, I was with you at El Centro Fox, about 5 years ago, and he said, Jerry was great, and I learned the things from him. I think it goes further. I think it takes a while. It must have taken a long time in the States. In New Zealand and Australia, it took a long time. But I think in Mexico, I think we see the change. I think we see it happening. I just hope it can keep coming.
Yeah, I know we have a bias. Do you suppose we can really encourage people to attend these sessions and do it and feel that they are learning and we're helping?
Yes, I do. Yes, I really do. They wouldn't come if they weren't looking for something. And look at the numbers. Look at the people who come. No, I think it's been great. And I think it's something I hope we can do for many more years.
Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Because it takes 3, 4, 5 days out of my life. It interrupts my business. Why are we doing this?
Well, I know you're looking puzzled about that now, but when I watch you in a group, you're different. You come alive. It's what you do. It's what you do. Now, sometimes you sit in your chair at home and you have the same look on your face, but it's not like it is when you're in front of people that you're helping. And so, for me, I like to see that. I like to see that side of you more. So I'm happy that we come. I think we do something, and I think you make a difference. And why not? Why not? Some of the people we work with at home, some of the programs we work with, yeah, you struggle through the difficulties, you try to change them. Some of the people don't want to hear it. But here there's something different. And it's just a way of giving back. Something you can do and leave with people. That's what I like.
Yeah.
I like to see you do it.
Giving back.
Yeah.
And I feel so strongly about giving back.
Yeah, that's
And I feel that everything I've learned and done in the profession has led me to this point where I am giving back. Now you mentioned you hope we'll be doing this for years and years. How many years were you thinking?
Oh, I don't know. Enough so that I can learn from you, so that maybe one day I can keep going.
Ah, very nice. Well, great having this visit. Thanks.
Thank you very much.